Namaste everyone. Welcome to Lessons with Lakshmi. Today we'll be discussing about the poem Animals by Walt Whitman. Before we get into the poem, let us know a little bit about the poet because it is very essential for us to write about the poet in appreciation of the poem. A few more points about the poet here you will learn. Walt Whitman, 1819 to 1892, was an American poet, essayist, and journalist. Whitman is among the most influential American poets, often called the father of free verse. That is why you know this poem is a free verse and it doesn't have a rhyme scheme. Born in Huntington on Long Island as a child, and through much of his career, he resided in Brooklyn. Whitman's major poetry collection, Leaves of Grass, was first published in 1855 with his own money and became well known. He continued expanding and revising it until his death in 1892. And this poem, which we are going to learn, this Animals poem, is from Leaves of Grass. During the American Civil War, he went to Washington, D.C. and worked in hospitals caring for the wounded. His poetry often focused on both loss and healing. So we know he is not only a poet, journalist, but he is also a great patriot. Two of his well-known poems, "Oh Captain, My Captain" and "When Lilacs Last in the Dooryard Bloomed," were written on the death of Abraham Lincoln. As you know, Abraham Lincoln was 16th President of United States of America. After a stroke towards the end of his life, Whitman moved to Camden, New Jersey, where his health further declined and he died at age 72. This is about Walt Whitman, and we will see the poem now. First, I'll be reading the poem and then explain it line by line. I think I could turn and live with animals. They are so placid and self-contained. I stand and look at them long and long. They do not sweat and whine about their condition. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. They do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. Not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented with the mania of owning things. Not one kneels to another, nor to his kind that lived thousands of years ago. Not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. So they show their relations to me, and I accept them. They bring me tokens of myself. They evince them plainly in their possession. I wonder where they got those tokens. Did I pass that way huge times ago and negligently drop them? So as you see, this poem is a very sweet poem about animals. Here, the poet relates to animals. He says, I want to live with animals and it is much better than living with human beings. He wants to transform himself and live with animals. He doesn't want to live with human beings. He says animals are much better. Why are they much better? He goes on to explain all the qualities of the animals, why he wants to live with them. And at the end, he says, where did they get these qualities? Okay, this is such a beautiful poem, so simply written, but still with a lot of depth in it. So let us look at the line by line explanation of the poem. So here the poet is saying, I think I could turn and live with animals. So he says, I can transform myself. I can transform into an animal and live with the animals. Why? He is going on to explain here. They are so placid and self-contained. Placid means calm. They are not upset easily. Look at the meanings here. They have written not easily upset is placid. They are not upset normally. They go on with their life without anger, hate, love, all these complicated emotions which human beings have. They are normally calm and quiet and they do their work. And self-contained. Self-contained is what they have written. Self-sufficient. Self-sufficient means dependency on others. There is no dependency on others. They live on their own. They are dependable on themselves. They don't depend on others for their work. Okay, self-sufficient means whatever they have, they do it. They are not dependent on others. I stand and look at them long and long. The poet is wondered, amazed at the qualities the animals have. He looks at them for a long time. Why do we look at somebody for a long time? When you are attracted toward that person, when you love that person, then you keep on looking at that person. Okay, so here he looks at the animals long and long means what? He appreciates the qualities the animals have. That is why he longs to be with them. He yearns to be with them. He wants to be with them because he finds the animals better than the human beings. They do not sweat and whine about their condition. Now, sweat and whine, it is the same meaning. Means the poet is saying the animals do not cry or complain about their condition, about their living condition. Here this poem is totally about comparing the human beings life with animals, how they are different from human beings, and why the poet appreciates animals more than human beings. He says they don't always complain about their condition, about the way of life they live, or about what they have, what they don't have. They do not complain about the condition they live. Okay, they do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. Again, he is comparing the animals with the human beings. He is saying human beings do mistakes, human beings do horrible things, and at night they don't get sleep because they think about the consequences of the actions they have done, and they do not sleep at night. They are so restless at night that they are not peaceful to get a happy sleep at night. They keep on thinking about their sins, and then they keep awake in the dark. They don't sleep in the dark. They are restless. They are tortured at night. They don't go to sleep with their actions because of the sins they have done. They do not cry. Animals do not cry at the night, or they do not weep and cry and be awake. They are happy and peaceful. They go to sleep, or nocturnal animals or whatever, their life cycle goes on. They do not cry for their sins because they don't commit any sins. They do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. Now, here, duty to God. See, these are responsibilities of a person towards another person. God created and there is a humanity. Now, here, a person helps another person. If you are a father, mother, parent, son, you have your own responsibilities and you are expected to do that work. You are expected to carry out those responsibilities. And when a person does more than just carry out the responsibility, he keeps on telling, I did this for you, I did that for you, means he wants the credit for the work he has done. But the animals do not discuss what they have done. They do not show off. They don't want credit for all the work or actions they have done. That is what he says. They do not make me sick. Make me sick means disgust me. Okay, he feels disgusted by the people who keep on whining about the work they have done, who keep on taking credit about what they have worked until now towards. So he says they do not disgust me by always discussing about their responsibilities toward God or what they have done for others. Not one is dissatisfied. Dissatisfied means what? Unhappy, not self-sufficient. Not one animal is unhappy or dissatisfied with its life. Not one is demented with the mania of owning things. Mania means what? Crazy, craze about it. Demented means what? Mad, so mad. Say for example, if you take human beings, they are mad about many things. They are mad about actors, actresses, or they are mad about branded products, owning some things. Like for example, if I am having an iPhone and if some new version comes in the market, I want that phone. So you are crazy. We want more and more things. We are not happy with what we already have. We are so mad of having things for ourselves. Okay, owning things means what? You want to buy more and more things. You are mad. You are crazy to have more and more things. Not one kneels to another. Here he is talking about God. Now human beings have a concept called God. We pray to God. If a person goes to a church or a temple, what does he do? He kneels in front of a God. He bows down to God and he prays to God. Here, this concept of God is not there for animals. Nobody kneels down another person. No animal kneels down another kneels down in front of another animal. There is no God concept over there. And he is saying not to his kind that lived thousands of years ago, means not to any kind of animal which has lived thousands of years ago. It is not for us. There is Mahabharata, Ramayana and all, and we know Rama and Krishna existed many thousands of years ago, and we bow down in front of them. Here in animal kingdom there is no such concept. They do not kneel down another animal which they consider as god. Not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. Now if you take human being, sadness or depression or being unhappy is so common. Every living being, a person who is too rich or too poor, any person you take, they are unhappy about one or other thing. Okay, so here he says not one animal is dissatisfied. Here respectable means what? Too happy and satisfied or unhappy. They are not happy or unhappy with their life. There is no concept of happy and unhappy because they live in the present. We human beings live in the past and in the future, and we want to earn so many things for our future. We want to make it secure. We forget about the present life. We are always either living in the past or living in the future. But animals are not like that. They are not too happy and they are not too sad. They just live their life over the earth. So they show their relations to me. So these are all the qualities he is talking about human animals, which the poet loves, and that is why he wants to live with animals. So the poet is saying now, so they show their relations to me and I accept them. So he is saying, so when they show their emotions to me, I accept that because they are not complicated. Whatever they feel, they show. The relations to me means what? How they react with you, how they communicate with you. Here the poet is saying if they are angry, they show anger towards you. If they are happy, so whatever is the emotion they show, that is very simple emotion, not like human beings. Human beings, they think something else, they show something else, they do something else, so very complicated. But animals are not like that. They bring me tokens of myself. Now what does token stand for? Here they have given here virtues like innocence, simplicity, contentment, etc. What is meant by virtue? Virtue means good quality. Okay, we have good qualities in a person like honesty. Okay, we appreciate honesty in another person, and compassion in another person. We feel consideration. All these things we love when other person shows. These are good qualities the other person shows towards another person. Here the animals also have these virtues. Say for example, a person owns a dog. If a master comes to the house, if the person who takes care of the dog comes to the house, dog just moves with that person. He just what do you say, follows that person anywhere, and whatever that person tells, the dog does. But is that the case with human beings? No, human beings forget about all these things. Whatever they want. So here tokens means good qualities, virtues. They show good qualities or virtues plainly. They are not complicated. What they feel is what they show. I wonder where they get those tokens. Now he is wondering, the poet is wondering, from where did the animals get these good virtues, good habits or good qualities? From where these tokens animals picked up? Now he is wondering, from where did they learn these tokens? Okay, now he is saying, did I pass that way huge times ago and negligently drop them? So beautifully this line is written. See, he says, did I drop them? Now if you see, human beings are born from animals only, we say. Okay, human beings evolved from animals. So he is saying, when you are an animal, when we were animals, we lost our virtues, we lost our good qualities, and they were picked up by animals, and when we moved on to human beings, we lost our good qualities. He is saying huge times ago, means centuries and centuries ago, very long time ago, I might have negligently dropped them, means carelessly. Without caring, you dropped all those virtues, and the animals picked up those virtues. Means what? When we were animals, we were having all these virtues, good qualities we had, but as and when we evolved into human beings, we lost those good qualities and they remained with the animal. So beautifully he ends with the poem. Here he says how human beings are ungrateful whereas animals are grateful, and that is why the poet wants to live with the animals. Such a simple and beautiful poem. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed it teaching you. Okay, let us move on to the next topic of the poem, that is the rhyme scheme and figure of speeches used in the poem. There is no rhyme scheme used in the poem, it is a free verse. Okay, I have written over there is no rhyme scheme. We also said Walt Whitman was the father, or was considered the father of the free verse. So this is written in a free verse and there is no rhyme scheme used in the poem. Let us move on to the figures of speeches. Let us look at the figures of speeches used in the poem here. I have highlighted some of them. See, long and long. Long word is repeated, so it is repetition. Sweat and wine. When I was explaining the poem, I told you the meaning of sweat and wine is same. Two different words are used whose meanings are same. Then it is called as tautology. They do not, they do not, they do not. See here the lines, consecutive lines. Consecutive means continuous lines are starting with the same word they. Then that figure of speech is called as anaphora. Same thing stands for not one, not one, not one. Here I have given two different colors because I want to differentiate between they do not and not one. That is why I have given a different color. Not one, not one. Same consecutive lines are starting with the same word not. So that is again anaphora. When you look at the word make, me, ma sound is repeated. So that is alliteration. Discussing their duty, the sound is repeated. So again that is alliteration. They show their relations to me and I accept them. The. They in the, there in the, and them. The sound is repeated, so that is again alliteration. And wonder where, wa sound is repeated, that is one more alliteration we have. Then you see respectable or unhappy. Here respectable meaning is what? Too happy or happy. When two opposite words are used in a single line, happy or unhappy, that is called as antithesis. Antithesis means opposite words used in the single line, then it is called as antithesis. Next figure of speech we have, they bring me tokens of myself. Tokens stand for what? Virtues. Here tokens here are virtues like innocence, simplicity. So token stands for some other thing, virtues, that is called as a metaphor. Okay. Next we have the last line which ends in a question mark, that is called as interrogation. Did I pass that way huge times ago and negligently drop them? This is called as interrogation figure of speech. So I hope this has been clear for you. It was wonderful discussing the poem with you, and I love this poem, especially Walt Whitman. Beautifully he writes, and it's a very simple poem. And I'll make one more video on warming up session. So have a wonderful day, and I'll meet you again soon.